Oh, son, this is a message I've wanted to make for a couple months now. Different factors have put me off from it, like reconsidering it and being like changing my views and contradicting myself on it. But I finally put my foot down and realized this is something I need to do. Now, this is an apology to my little brother. And this could be construed as, oh, you should just tell him yourself. And I will. But I want to put this down as a historical moment for myself, and also a lesson for other people. If anybody has any related things to it, any relation to this, or if this resonates with anybody, then it'll be for another net positive than just an apology. But we're going to start this back a ways. Whenever I was still a piece of shit, doing hedonistic things, I played video games all day, I didn't have any passions or anything, and all I did was get high with my friends and play video games. And some days after school, I'd have some of my friends come over, and my little brother would be home, and we would terrorize the shit out of him, chase him around, just do absolute stupid shit because we thought it was funny, and I never really considered the psychological impacts it could have on him. And I don't know, as we talked in the past, probably I haven't seen him in a while, probably about 6 months. But whenever I did live with him and we talked, it didn't really seem like it did have an impact. But I found a video on my phone. This will just describe the type of person I used to be, where I took a katana from my room. I was like a big nerd. I had a katana sword from a Renaissance festival with my friends, and I thought it would get a rise out of my friends if I chased him around. Now keep in mind, he's 5 years younger than me, and I was probably around 14 or 15 at the time, so he was only like 10 or 11, and chased him around the fucking house. Real dysfunctional home growing up. Chased him around the fucking house with this katana, just scaring the shit out of him, running around at him, having my friends corner him and shit. I didn't hurt him, but I probably did psychologically. And then he runs and he hides in his room, and I stabbed the katana through the wall, through the drywall, just to give exclamation to terrorize him more. And I'm sorry for that moment if he sees this. But there was a couple other moments just like this where I would do certain things and hurt him and call him a pussy if he got upset about it and just shit like that. And it went on and on. Until a moment in time where I started growing myself and getting into self-improvement and maturing at a rapid rate. Now, one thing, and I don't really know what causes it, but I know it happens to more people, is as you mature at this rapid rate, you start to develop a large sense of ego, and you start to look down on certain people. And whenever you're eating the perfect diet, working out every day, doing all this shit that most people don't do, waking up real early, going to the gym, yada, 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 you start to look down on the other people doing it. And instead of the best way of guiding them and leading as example, you start to insult them. You start to be like, come on, dog, you're fat. And you can't really do this with your elders or anybody like that you feel needs to change. But with my younger brother, I found it real easily to use him almost as a punching bag. And I made this realization a while back after we got in a real big fight one day and he called me an asshole. And I still somewhat in my mind have the opinion that I was trying my best to help him. But trying my best to help him whenever I saw him going down the same negative route that I was going, playing video games all day, not doing anything, eating terrible food. And it was really hard for me. I made several times to easily and peacefully explain to him why this is a negative thing. And it seemed to have an impact at first, real emotional, and then it'd go nowhere. So eventually I found myself getting really mad at him and taking out anger on him and calling him fat and just joking at him every single time I'd see him. It'd be like, hey, fatty, or whatnot, shit like that. Just something I really regret now. And I saw this that really tied this full circle for me. I recently rewatched the whole original JRE, a David Goggins podcast, and there's a little quote at the end of that podcast that Joe Rogan says, and he talks about these people who are doing all their shit really disciplined and not, and they take it out, and they insult other people who are not at the level that they think they are by name calling, being real rude and stuff. And David Goggins and Joe Rogan come to this agreement that it's said out of a place of fear of yourself falling down them same habits, falling into those same habits, and you're fearful to end up back where you're at. And I agree with that full-heartedly. But I also feel like another part of it is my little brother being 5 years younger than me. I almost view him as a second chance for myself. I underachieved greatly in school, and he's about the age that I was whenever I really started going down my dark rabbit hole of underachievement. And I saw this, and I saw the exact same behaviors I was doing, enabled by parents, and it really hurt me. And the only way I found, if my lectures wouldn't help, was insult and try this like really harsh form of motivation. And it wasn't a very positive thing, and it didn't obviously end up working. Hence, I'm making this video now. And to get back on track, David Goggins and them says it comes out of a fear, and I feel like it comes out of that also with a place of me living my life vicariously through him. I don't know if I had this idea in my head of maybe he has so much potential, he could be like this superhuman if he started. If I'm this far mentally now, and if I started back then he could be blah blah blah. Who cares? He's a different person. He's a different individual with own unique interests, and I needed to just let him be himself. And for that, again, I want to apologize to you, Carson. I was an asshole. In our last argument, we got in a big-ass argument to the first point where there was no making up from it afterwards. And he sat there really emotionally and called me an asshole. And that really stuck in me hard like a knife. I denied it, of course, at first and came back with some insult. But it was something that obviously impacted me enough for me to carry it in my head for this long of a time. 6 to 8 months. I don't really remember. But another motivating factor to me to push him along this point, and something that has kind of also helped me reconcile and stop being so harsh to him, is Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. They have this like dream brothers bond. They talk about, we combined our wealth, everything is his. You never hear this is mine, you hear this is ours. Their favorite phrase is ours. And they're like a super team, and they put all their success and accomplishments on being their relationship with each other, and that they're brothers and all this. And I found this unique opportunity that I also have a brother that's younger, and I can guide him and whatnot. I saw it as a scenario where, oh man, I want this so bad. This seems like such a cool thing to have. And I didn't ruin it because there's still time, obviously, but I kind of hindered myself with this thought. And now I use it as motivation, as if we were to be that super team, like I think, then I went about it the complete wrong way, because a team like that of brothers who care so much about each other, they're not supposed to put each other down. They're supposed to uplift each other in the best way. And yes, it's going to be hard whenever someone does something or has an interest that you do not like, and you be like, and you find it cringy or whatever. So the easy route is to make fun. The easy route is to belittle. But the harder route, and I guess this also is some form of a father and son type thing, mentor type thing, is to be proud of your younger brother. Be proud of him. Lift him up, even with things that don't interest you. Don't call them gay. Don't call them cringe. Don't use childish insults. But try your hardest to lift him up and show interest in his interests. And maybe that is the best way, is a positive. Maybe that's the best way to influence him, is through positivity instead of some sort of brash negativity that might work on you. Because for me, calling myself looking in the mirror, and for a lot of people that are real hard, like David Goggins inspired types, looking in the mirror and calling yourself a lazy fat motherfucker helps. But whenever some other people, that might not help them depending on their situation. Now, I do believe once you get to a certain position that the best option is to be truthful with yourself, but he's a lot younger. He's not as mature as I am now, hence me being 5 years older than him. So maybe I should have went, no, not maybe. I should have went about it in a completely different way. And I don't want to keep edging this video on longer and longer. I just wanted to get to this strict point. I'm sorry, Carson. I was mean to you, and I was an asshole. I will continue from this day on to support you in whatever endeavors you choose, and I love you.